What's up, everybody? We're back with the More podcast. Ryan Mosier, Nicholas Manus, and we are ready to rock. I'm so excited to be here for episode 31, and I'm so glad each and every one of you guys are here as well. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, send this to your grandparents, your frenemies, your enemies, your situationships.
Even your exes.
Yeah, tie the link to a small pigeon and send it away and have it just land somewhere.
Put it in a bottle and let it drift out into the water.
I like that, yeah. Like fucking tie it to a damn, what's it called? Tie it to a kite and let the kite just fly away.
Yeah, when you're fishing, just reel in the fish, take a piece of paper with the link on it, staple it to the fish, let it float away.
I love it. This is the More podcast, and we're going to get right into it with this week's snack of the week. Shout out to Snackalator for hooking us up with these snacks of the week. And this week we have the McFloat. Okay. Now this is interesting. We have the McFloat. And I know what you're thinking, a Sprite, what is it called?
A
Sprite float,
Right.
A Fanta float, and a Coke float, which depending on where you are in the world could be interesting. But let's just read a little bit about our Sprite floats. So here we have a McFloat from McDonald's. They actually offered these in the US as a menu option, but this is one of the more famous menu hacks that you can do at McDonald's to make it happen. These are offered in many countries, but in the US, you have to work for it. If you want to try one, the easiest way to do it is order a large drink, a plain ice cream cup, and a second empty cup to combine the soda of choice with the ice cream. Maybe it's a lot of work, but there's something to be said for a Coke float or a root beer float. And sometimes the fact that you have to assemble it yourself makes it all the better. Nick, what do you feel about these floats?
So honestly, first, I just want to go back to the root beer float, right? Like, who is to say that any other pop wouldn't go good with these floats? Which is why I think this is a kind of a good idea. My favorite pop is Coca-Cola, so I feel like I would definitely be down for the Coca-Cola one. Now, when it comes to working for this item, right, that you got to work for it. It might be better if you work for it, right?
Yeah.
All I'm saying is when I go to McDonald's, the last thing I want to do is work for my food.
Damn
right?
right.
I'm there for fast food. I'm there for something quick, easy. Here's $3. Give me something, and there it is. So I probably would never do this if I had to make it myself. But if it was on the menu, and I was feeling a little, maybe something different today.
Cheat day vibes.
Yeah,
maybe
cheat day. I would definitely be on the Coca-Cola float.
My favorite soda, if her pop, as and a proper Ohioan would say, everyone, when I go and travel and I would say I'll take a pop, people would be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Seriously. But no, my favorite is what is that? Dr. Pepper. Yeah. See, I don't even drink it that often, but the Dr. Pepper, you know what I mean? That I like that. But even then, I don't think I've ever had a root beer. Maybe I've had one root beer float, and that was my last root beer float.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just not a big fan of that kind of stuff. Here's the thing. I feel like it's packed with sugar. There's a ton of bad stuff. You're mixing pop and ice cream. Like, come on, like how much, how low are we going? You know what I mean? And so it's like, when I go low, it's like this. Last night I had a great day. I worked out right. I ate good for my first 2 meals, and I'm sitting there at 11:30 at night watching a hockey game, and there's a cupcake sitting in front of me. And I'm like, is this where I want to cheat? I've had such a great day, and I have the option here to make a small choice that even if I eat the cupcake, who says it's not going to make a huge difference in my physique or anything like that? But it's more of a mental thing. If I can deny this cupcake now, I'm stronger in the future. And also when I do get that cupcake,
it's going to be that much better.
It's going to be that much better.
Straight up.
And so I'm kind of thinking about it like this. Am I going to break a good habit for this kind of low down, dirty stuff? You know what I mean? A McFloat.
Yeah, this would be definitely a once in a very great while type of thing, because I'm not even going to McDonald's for a McFloat. I'm not even going to McDonald's for ice cream. Like, if I'm going to get ice cream, I'm just going to go to the ice cream shop. You know what I mean? I will say that I do get McDonald's chocolate chip cookies, and I get them in a tote, because if you order the tote, my friends, then they serve them fresh and warm.
Yeah.
They're delicious.
Oh, yeah.
Big fan. But yeah, no, I definitely understand where you're coming from with the cheat thing. With this, though, I mean, I feel like they need to offer more like ice cream options, because if you gave me like what is that thing called, like an orange creamsicle or something like that?
Okay, yeah.
And now I don't know if that's orange ice cream, but I feel like if you put that in the Fanta, it would be better complementary for that kind of thing.
Interesting. I don't know if you could put orange on top of orange, and in the orange ice cream you were talking about might be considered a sherbet, but I don't know if the orange on orange would really do anything. If anything, I think the orange would only be good with the vanilla but the Sprite. Now, if you put orange sherbet in the Sprite McFloat, there now we're talking. You know what I mean? Because the Sprite is already it's colorless. It's pretty plain. You know what I mean? But then you add in a citrus type flavor with the orange, and I think that would complement it well.
What would you say, out of all of your ice cream experiences, you would like say is your not wildest ice cream experience, but like you had an ice cream experience, you had a flavor of ice cream and you was like, damn, like that was pretty good. Like I would get that again. It's not your like average chocolate vanilla.
Right. Well, see, I'm more Graham Central Station. Do you know what I'm talking about here?
Graham Central Station. Is
Graham
that in Cleveland?
Central Station, dog. So, basically it's from Toff's Creamery, Graham Central Station.
Okay.
And it's got to be vanilla because it's nothing else. But the ice cream is a little bit brown, and but it's not chocolate. I know for a fact it's just not. It's not chocolate.
Okay.
But it's not white. It's not traditionally white.
Okay.
And then it's graham cracker bits that are covered in chocolate in the ice cream. And so then you take a bite and you have this vanilla with graham cracker covered in chocolate. And
that sounds like just like a s'more ice cream. That sounds fire. But it's not s'more. There's no marshmallow. It's not marshmallow.
No, yeah, exactly.
And there's no chocolate.
No chocolate ice cream other than the chocolate covering that's over the graham cracker.
Okay.
And that shit was amazing, dude. It was so good. And then they discontinued it.
I think that like ice cream with like little bites in it, like little like either mint chocolate chip or like moose tracks. You know what I mean?
You're getting that different kind of profile from, it's not just ice cream that's going to wither away inside. Instead, you got to chew it up a little bit.
Yeah, I get so excited too when I'm like eating the ice cream and then I find one of those within the ice cream and then I put them out and I chew it. I'm like,
oh shit, that was the dingleberry. You know what I mean?
Straight up. But I'd have to say I went to this ice cream shop in Toledo, Ohio. I think it was like, it's something polar bear or polar or something.
Okay.
And they have a Nerds Sundae.
God, that's
with blue raspberry ice cream,
gravy.
Dude. It's fire. It's like, you know, like the chocolate like shell that you get on ice cream sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a blue raspberry shell,
right?
And it's not what you think.
Wow,
but it's exactly what you think.
See, I'm like,
but it's not gross. It's fire.
I don't know.
And they put Nerds all in it. It's great. And then at the very bottom, there's
it's too much. See that? I guess with much like the McFloat, it sounds like too much sugar, like a sugar overload. See me, like I'm the guy who likes butter pecan. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm a 7-year-old man.
Butter pecan and Michelob Ultra.
Yeah, I'm a middle-aged man, so I'm getting butter pecan and a Michelob Ultra. But yeah, butter pecan and Graham Central Station, and that's really as crazy as I get. You know, I'll order coffee flavored ice cream. That stuff's pretty good.
Oh wait, what isn't that? There's a certain coffee flavored ice cream that's called something. It's like I forget the name of it right now. Yeah. But it's great. But honestly, when it comes to ice cream, I'm more simple than like, you know, complicated like that. Nerd Sundae
that Nerd Sundae was raspberry shell with nerds in it.
That was fire. That was fire. However, usually if I go get ice cream, I'm like chocolate. Yeah. Just give me chocolate or like your darkest chocolate, or I like a nice turtle sundae.
Turtle sundae. I do like the turtles. That's just like what is that? It's nougat covered in chocolate.
It's nougat, caramel, chocolate, and then there's nuts.
Yeah, dude.
And I think there's like little chocolate brownie bites in it too.
Jesus God. Yeah,
turtles. Dairy at the Dock, bro. They know what to do.
Turtles go crazy. Well, you know, Dairy at the Docks actually they're looking to sell that place. And the place, I know. I grew up riding my bike out there, and then, dude. Here's the thing. My favorite type of ice cream is soft serve. I get soft serve with sprinkles on it, like a child. I like vanilla with sprinkles.
Okay, yeah,
that's my shit. But I would ride my bike out there, you know, do all that jazz. But now there's a big. Have you drove past it lately? The guy's got a big smoker out there. He's doing meats, brisket, and such.
Oh, he's cooking like burgers and stuff as well.
I don't know about burgers.
Just brisket.
It's like brisket. He's got a smoker, and he's like doing like high class meats. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And he owns it, and he's saying they're both too much. He's got to pick one or the other, and it looks like he's picking the meats. Yeah,
that's tough, man.
That's tough. Dairy at the Dock's a staple.
That's a staple, bro. Yeah. It's like the Miller Ferry and Dairy at the Dock. They just go together. You can't have one without the other. I mean, some may say otherwise, but I beg to differ,
Right. And just like, the birds and the bees, you can't have one without the other. And that's what I want to talk about is like, you see that transition?
I did. Well, I did want to mention, we were talking about turtles and I did save a turtle today. It was this little guy just right in the middle of the road. He was like all tucked away in his shell. He got so far into the middle of the road and I took him and I put him in the grass and then he was pissed at me. He's like, I took all day. I took all day to get out to that road. And, I saved him anyways.
Well, dude, the one day we were coming back home and just like you saw that small turtle in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
We saw a fucking one that looked like a boulder. And it was a big, fat, ugly, snapping turtle. You know what Bowser looks like in Super Mario Bros?
Yeah.
He literally looked like that. Just like big, nasty, mean monster. And I've actually got photos. Maybe we'll upload them or you can just fuck off. But
are they fast?
I mean, they can move. They can certainly move.
But like, if I get behind him and try to save him, he's not gonna like spin around real quick.
No, they can do that.
Oh, for real? Like he can just do a quick flip and just.
They do quick flips.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and they've got powerful jaws. Okay. And they've got like one, like the tip of their mouth is fucking sharp.
And if you get in there, you're screwed.
Yeah. And so we were coming home one night. And Rob's like, holy shit, look at that turtle. And he gets out of the car, dude. And we all go up to it. And it's covered in its shell. But, dude, it's the size of a boulder. So big. Rob gets behind that bitch and picks him up. And as he's like got it off the ground, it brought its head back and almost got his arm. And he dropped the turtle. And then he's like, because he's trying to get it out of the road.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to get it. We're not trying to, use and abuse.
Yeah.
We're trying to get it out of the road. That's all.
Because there's going to be a person that doesn't see the turtle or doesn't care about the turtle.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. And
should have known better.
Yeah. Right. But their car hits it. It's like it just shoots away. But anyway, so then he finally gets under it, dude. It's so big. It's trying to fight him and bite him, and he puts it down and. We went on our way, but it actually looked like a prehistoric being, like a monster.
Or if the truck is like driving or the car and like it hits the turtle, but the truck and the car like smashes itself and like does a flip because like the turtle is just stationary.
Yeah, the turtle doesn't move, right?
But anyways, the birds and the bees.
The birds and the bees, dude. I wanted to talk about like growing up, how I was never given the birds and the bees talk. Like I was never talked to about sex and the relationship of sex and all the good things that come with sex and frankly, all the bad things that come with sex too. Like, we'll talk about the good things first and how it is an energy transfer. It's how you bring life on this planet. It's how, humans can connect and stuff like that. And it can be a really beautiful thing. But also if you don't learn that, and then you also don't know of the dark aspect of sex, the sex addiction, the falling into what is that, easy dopamine hits and
fixes, quick fix
right, and all of that stuff. So I think that's something that growing up I just had to learn on my own, you know what I mean? And I just feel like there's like, of course there's sex ed and stuff like that, but that's like a joke again. Like I feel like the whole thing behind sex ed is like a joke. Like
they've created that.
They've created like this aspect of like, like the big sex talk between a parent and their kid is like a joke, like or has to be this awkward thing when it's like if you just are real with your kid is like, here's how this happens and just tell them about both sides, the great things that can happen, because you don't have to tell them about double penetration. You don't have to tell them about dildos and stuff.
Yeah.
That's like the joke is like everyone thinks, you got to tell them about handcuffs and stuff like that. No, you tell them about the energy transfers and the beautiful parts of it, as well as help them understand that if you do not, it's much like taking, psychedelics. It's like when you respect the drug and do it the right way, you get a lot from it. And and it really is almost a healing experience. But when you disrespect and you just do it for fun, like psychedelics, and this is a metaphor for sex, when you do it for fun, that's when it can be dangerous or it can be not helpful to you.
And everyone thinks it's just for the orgasm too. Every guy's just trying to get their nut. Every girl, I mean, I can't speak from a girl's perspective, but like they just want to like have sex and be done with it. But in reality, like it's much greater than like that physical pleasure, that feeling in your genitals. You gotta, it's a really, like you said, that energy transfer. You're supposed to get outside of yourself and have that energy exchange with that other significant other. You're not supposed to focus on, your genitals and like the physical sensations, but be outside and in your partner in a sense, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think it's just I read this book and I was telling you earlier about The Way of the Superior Man, and he literally talks about how to orgasm and how to make love to your partner, and it's supposed to be like a whole energy feeling all the way up from your genitals all the way up to your head for males anyways, and then it's like you don't have that like remorse or regret or that feeling after. It's like a rejuvenation in a sense if you like do it the right way. And I'm just gonna, like, we obviously don't know everything, we still have a lot to learn in terms of that kind of area, but it's like it's much beyond just like the physical, like, oh, I'm just gonna get my nut off.
Yeah, and I just am I like that you brought that up, that book and stuff like that, which I'm really excited to read. I just feel like, I was somebody who wasn't taught everything about sex, the correct way, the wrong way, this and that. And so I don't want, my kids in the future to have to go through those struggles. Instead, they can learn from my mistakes.
And I think, sorry to cut you off, I think that like our lack of knowledge is based on like parental fear as well. You know what I mean? Like, our parents may be afraid of us to have sex because their kids are growing up, or they might, get sick or something like that. They might get hurt, or they might catch a disease, get a disease, or get someone pregnant and have like a baby with someone that they aren't intending to do that with.
Yeah.
And so like some parents just completely avoid the topic entirely because they don't want to bring it up, which is a reflection of them rather than the kid.
Right.
So don't be mad if the kid goes out and has irresponsible sex because you weren't the parent to, oversee that and make sure that your kid made good sexual decisions.
Yeah. I totally agree. And that's exactly what it all comes down to. And I'm not blaming my parents or anything like that. I'm just saying I won't follow in those footsteps. Instead, I'd rather just educate and show them everything from every angle that it could be.
And I don't know exactly how the adults have come to, not even like parents, but like teachers and stuff like that. Like, how has the sexual stigma for children become like, oh, laughter, oh, funny?
Yeah,
you know
like
what I mean?
Joke.
Like, because kids, that's not on kids. You know what I mean? Like, kids aren't the ones who know. They don't know what's up. You know what I mean? It's the adult's responsibility to educate, to inform them, and to let them know what it is, straight up.
Yeah.
And like you said, like, also educate them about like the other side of that as well.
Yeah. I think, it's really odd. And we had said it a couple episodes back. He's like, yeah, as a kid, you don't know anything other than what you've been exposed to. You don't know anything other than what you've been told.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So yeah. And that's interesting. And dude, I obviously growing up, you want to watch, The Hangover, you want to watch South Park, you want to watch, Family Guy. And I mean, dude, I grew up watching Family Guy. Like, that's what I grew up watching. That was like my cartoon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you think those have a detrimental after effect to kids?
Definitely.
or
it's like, it's just subconscious programming. You know what I mean? They're making jokes, they're doing funny things surrounding that subject, or like variety of different subjects in the show. Therefore, that programming in children comes out in their realities. You know
it's almost like if you only heard it through a joking setting, then you only think of that topic in a joking setting.
Right.
If think about 9/11. I think you probably, as a kid, you probably heard jokes about 9/11 before you learned about 9/11.
Yeah.
Or you learned about 9/11 through a joke. I don't know about you.
Like dark humor or something like that. Yeah.
I don't know about you, but for me, it was like that. And on a scale of more than just this topic, you know what I mean? So if you learn about something in the atmosphere of a joke, then you only immediately, when you think of the topic, you go right to the joke. You know what I mean? You don't think about it in any other way.
If it was like talked about like a serious drama or like a serious like educational setting, then like for instance, like history, for example, like when we learn about history in school, or like math, they like are serious. It's by textbook. You know what I mean? It's a subject all the way from when we're like first grade to, pretty much graduating of high school.
Right.
So like, can you imagine if like something like sex was just educated like a math or anything like that? Really, just like the educational system is just so beyond. It's just unbelievable in like so many different aspects. Like, we're literally teaching kids, like just pointless information. I feel like other than, rather than like how to live a good life, how to like, and obviously that's all relative, but like there's so much science and research now. I mean, Andrew Huberman, and there's so many different like, I mean, I don't know, just like health practitioners and just like so much information. Like, why are we stuck doing that shit? Because they want us to be stuck. They want us to be programmed. And so until there's like great change in the world, it's just going to keep going, which is why we have to talk about this here. You know what I mean? We have to
definitely, And although YouTube or the powers that be, we're still on their platform, so they can try to suppress this as much as they want. They can try to not let this information get out there, because ultimately it goes against maybe not their plan directly, but the people who write their checks plans. And it's all about money at the end of the day. But I was gonna bring it back to the Titanic. Did you see the movie Titanic?
Yes, the whole thing.
Yeah, before, or did you see that before or after a joke about the Titanic?
I saw the Titanic like before.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I saw that was like one of my first OG like like a little more mature films as a child. Yeah, that may have been one of the first times I've seen like a sex scene.
Wow,
in the car. Yeah,
really. And what happened then?
I mean, I don't remember.
You're like, boing.
I'm like, this is one of my favorite movies ever. I want to watch it again.
Right, and when you're not around, Mom. But
straight up.
But dude, I actually went in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. They have a Titanic museum where you go and they have this water. It's like
I've seen it from the outside,
but you didn't go in.
No, because it's the Titanic, but it's like cut in half, right? It's like the one that's like cut in half on the strip. Like there's the Gatlinburg strip.
Yeah.
And then you're like, there's all the different things like on the sides, and there's the Titanic, like half of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then you go in but you put your hand in this water, and it's like LED blue water, and it's supposed to be the temperature of the water that night.
Oh, really?
Dude, it's fucking cold.
And then Jack comes up and grabs you by the wrist.
And then he pulls you under, and then he takes your clothes, puts them on, and then
he goes away, and then it's your turn.
He goes out, and then he like steals your identity, and you're like Jack in the hole now, and he's Ryan Mojay on the outside. But dude, they had a whole bunch of other stuff. Ice that you could touch that was the same temperature as the icebergs and all that stuff.
I mean, how cold really was it? I mean, we talk about cold plunges and cold showers and ice baths, like based on your experience just being at home and taking like what you perceived as a cold shower and putting your hand in that. Was it really significantly colder?
Let's think. Where did it go down at? Alaska?
No. It was in the Atlantic Ocean.
Okay, where's that?
In between England and New York City.
Oh, okay. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Because for some reason I thought it was up in Alaska.
No, A's, your A's, Alaska, Atlantic, Arctic.
Arctic.
You get them mixed up sometimes,
Anywho, what I was going to say is I've been to Alaska, so I know. But it didn't happen.
Well, you didn't know, clearly.
So let's think. How cold exactly was it? I mean, yeah, it was pretty cold.
I mean, how cold can cold be when it's not freezing?
It can get hot. Have you ever touched something so cold that it feels your body almost thinks it's hot?
Well, right. It's like that burning sensation. It's like, I mean, if you get like frostbite, if you're like outside, you don't have gloves on, you stay out there for a long period of time, your hands are like.
Right. Yeah. I guess if I'm like cooking, like in the kitchen or whatever, and then like I go like this, my arm touches something cold, because I'm working with something that's hot, and it's something that's cold, my mind or my nerves automatically think I've just been burnt.
Well, so I'm saying though, like, okay, so like water gets cold and then it freezes when it gets cold to the point of freezing.
Right.
So this water, how cold can water get? It's like 32 degrees freezes, right? So was the water 33 degrees? Was the water 32
No, I think
degrees?
It was definitely colder than that.
So it was just like, I wonder if there's just so much water.
I think you can look it up. Look it up. What was the temperature of the water the night the Titanic sank? And it wasn't in Alaska. I thought it was. Oh boy.
Okay, so let's check this out. It says right here.
And then you can go back to that tab.
The temperature of the water was negative 2.2 degrees Celsius when Titanic is sinking. The temperature in Fahrenheit would be not 32 degrees. right?
No, read it. You got to read it all. Fahrenheit equals 9/5 Celsius temperature plus 32 degrees.
So 9 over -2 times 9, right? -2.2 times 9. That's like -18.
Yep.
Right. Divided by 5. So that's like 3.5, right?
Okay.
Something like 3.5. So -3.5 plus 32 is like 29, 28 degrees.
Yeah, and that's not even as cold as you would think. You would think it'd be colder, but 20, what do we say, 28?
28-ish.
28, that's not bad.
If the math's wrong on that, correct me, guys, but I'm pretty sure that is accurate.
I mean, that was some pretty good quick math.
Yeah,
but
no, PEMDAS.
Would you, if you were on the Titanic, would you follow the rules of like women and children first? Or would you be like noble and be like, I'm going out with the ship?
Well, I mean, of course, women and children first, but it's like if the ship's going down, if it's going down, right? I'm jumping in the water and I'm swimming to a boat. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
You know
like
what I mean?
One of the lifeboats.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at that point, it's not like you stopped anybody from getting on. You took it upon yourself to jump off and then swim. Right. Which is added steps.
Right. Exactly.
But the thing was,
listen, they said I couldn't get on a lifeboat from the boat. They didn't say anything about jumping off.
Yeah,
right?
But the thing was, they were packing the lifeboats so heavily with people that there was, even if you did get to the boat, you would just be on the guardrails and they'd be like, sorry, dude, like there's literally nowhere for you to go.
That's crazy.
And then you'd be half in, half out.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, too, I feel like, okay, now, I may be naive to the fact, but okay, we have people nowadays like Wim Hof, right? Walking almost all the way naked in Arctic temperatures in the freezing cold when he's like in mountains where there's snow and ice everywhere. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's there for hours, days. So I feel like a lot of they died, right? Because of freezing cold water. Right. But it's got to be mental too. You know what I mean? Right. It's got to be like you give up, mentally. You will yourself to die. The freezing cold water obviously doesn't help. But it's like with the right steps, with the right techniques, I'm sure that some of them could have survived. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
if they come back.
They were ignorant to the knowledge of control your breath, be one with your breath, and just feel the water.
And they're panicking. They're like freaking out. They're not even thinking. They're in just fight or flight. They're not just like,
calm while the gigantic Titanic has split in half.
So no, obviously that's like intense. You know what I mean? I didn't live there, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like with the knowledge and stuff we have today, if applied. Like, you're telling me if Wim Hof was there, he would have died? I don't think so.
Yeah, maybe not. And is that a testament to human evolution or just knowledge?
Knowledge applied.
I see. If you were working on the Titanic, what do you think? What would your job have been?
If I would have just had any job.
Actually, you give me a job and I'll give you a job.
Okay. You're definitely the guy in the engine room, like directing all of the guys shoveling coal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think you probably would have been the spotter, like the guy who's supposed to be looking out for icebergs.
Oh, and I'm the guy. I'm that guy, right? I'm that guy.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's an iceberg. Hey, well, you know what? Here's the thing. Really, it wasn't that guy's fault, right? It was the fault of whoever made the decision to slow down. Because they say if they would have sped up and went faster, then they would have been able to go around that iceberg. You know what I mean? Because of momentum. You know what I mean? It's like when you're turning a car, you know what I mean? Like, let's say you're going in a circle, right? If you go real slow, you know what I mean? You're going to, I feel like, take a wider turn, right? But if you press on the gas really quick and you turn, it's going to be like a sharper turn. You know what I mean?
So instead they slowed down and that allowed them to not have enough inertia to get around it. Instead, they just slammed into it.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, this just all comes back to the fact that this was all inevitable. I mean, here's the thing. At the end of the day, like, it fucking sucks that all these people died, but like, it's just the universe just was like, all right, well, it was just meant to be. It's like tragedy happens. And so does great things happen. It's duality, right?
Right.
And like, it's quite unfortunate.
Yeah, I think I don't want to start this conversation because I don't have all the facts about it, but I think there was like a high profile like businessman on board who was like the last thing before like the Federal Reserve became a thing.
Okay.
So essentially, like, there was all these people with money, right?
Uh-huh.
Acting almost as banks, right? And so they all got together and created the Federal Reserve. But there was one guy who was like, I'm not doing that. He just so happened to get a ticket for the Titanic, and it went down. And then he had no voice. And then the U.S. government was now backed all solely of the Federal Reserve.
So he died.
Yeah, he died.
Oh, okay.
So I've heard there's some like weird conspiracy type stuff going on with like why, it went down and there was a high profile people on it and whatnot. But
all I'm saying is like with conspiracy theories, like, okay, some of them may not be real, but who's to say that all of them aren't? You know what I mean? You're telling me that every single conspiracy theory, every single, like when you put the word conspiracy in front of it, that just changes the whole way it's perceived.
It devalues anything you say.
Exactly. Like scientists, the Big Bang theory, it's a theory. It's not proven fact. You know what I mean? And so it's just, all I'm saying is I don't know which conspiracy theories are true or false, but there's definitely some that are definitely true. You just don't know which ones.
Yeah, right. And you'll probably never know for sure. You know what I mean?
It makes me almost believe, like, obviously, like, I'm not going to say I'm a flat earther because I'm not. I believe the earth is round, and I believe, like, I believe that the world is round. You know what I mean? But, like, where was I going to get to? Like, I feel like conspiracy theories in general, like the word conspiracy in front of it nowadays makes me even question it more. You know what I mean? Because it's like the people out there, they put conspiracy in front of it so that we devalidate it. So it's like back to 9/11, right? Whether Bush did 9/11 or not, I don't know. But all I'm saying is like they want you to think that there's no way that would have happened. So they'll put conspiracy in front of it.
Right. And they joke about it and they make it a popular or cool thing for all you normies out there watching this to, again, like you would rather, instead of just even maybe question that the earth could be flat, instead, like, I don't want to be shamed, or I don't want people to be like, oh, this fucking idiot thinks the earth is flat. You know what I mean? That's the type of societal pressure that doesn't allow people to open up to maybe these alternate answers to some of these things.
Right.
Fuck it. I think the earth could be flat. It is flat until proven not flat. Right. And as far as I'm concerned, with all of the technology nowadays, who knows? You know what I mean? Like what we're really seeing. I mean, everything at the news and shit like that is all green screen. You know what I mean? Like they're standing in front of a green screen and it looks like they're there. They've got fans blowing on them and shit. It's nuts. Everything is basically
everyone's an actor
generated from a movie, right? You know what I mean? And
it's like, just believe what you see and perceive in your reality, right? Everything that's coming from your phone, every news, everything from the TV, like I take like a TV show on Netflix or something like that, like that could just be as true or not true as the shit they're putting on the news nowadays. You know what I mean? Because they all are acting, they're all wanting you to just get sucked into like just nonsense, you know, and just really believe what's going on in your reality. You know what I mean? Whatever you experience, and obviously take what other people experiences, you know, as well. Like, so Ryan lives in my reality, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying other people's realities don't matter, but I'm just saying, like, if Ryan gives me information on my real reality, I can trust that more than getting it from a phone. You know what I mean?
Right.
Getting it from like a little box that now they make you carry around everywhere with you. And they don't make you carry it around, but they pretty much make it almost nearly impossible to live without nowadays.
Right. Yeah. And not only that, but like, you know, you can now pay with your phone. I guess they're not forcing us to carry these around, but they've made it so easy to do life with this thing that it's foolish for you not to. You know what I mean?
And then you're just one day it's gonna be, they're gonna make
on
it
your eyes. It's gonna be on your eyes.
Yeah, it's gonna make it normal for you to get a chip in your hand. I was actually talking to someone at work the other day, and they said there's a family called the Chip family, and they have chips in their hands, and they can do everything in their house with these chips in their hands.
Yeah,
they can open doors, they can open garage doors, they can turn on the TV.
So wait, they just took the nickname the Chip family.
The Chips. Here, let's look it up.
Wait, so it's a famous family.
I think so.
Well, dude, I'll tell you what, dude. I went to, when I lived in Colorado.
Okay, I'm listening.
I lived out in Colorado, and if you guys are getting some feedback, there's an invasion going on outside.
Yes, there is.
But when I lived in Colorado, dude, this one dude showed me he pulled out his phone and tapped it on his wrist and pulled up.
I can't find it. Anyways, go on.
He took his phone out, tapped it on his wrist, and it pulled up statistics of his heart rate, of his blood flow and shit. He was in the military. They paid him to do experimental stuff. So he got paid to be a guinea pig.
Okay.
And one of the things that they did is they put a chip in his wrist to measure his heart rate, his metrics, all that stuff. And then he could get downloads to it where now his bank information is on there and he could do all that stuff.
Okay.
With a chip inside of
him. So I wonder what they can do with the chip to make you affect you physically.
I'm not sure.
Like, can they do something to the chip to start your blood flow in your body? Can they if they can detect your heart rate, what makes you think that they can't stop it? Yeah, right. Or make you like just think differently. You know what I mean? Like completely neurologically rewire your brain.
This weird stuff, dude. Weird stuff. And then I don't know if you heard about the black goo?
Black goo.
So the black goo is this like microscopic organism. Essentially, you know what venom is?
From Spider-Man.
From Spider-Man.
Yes.
It's that. And they've put it in they've subliminally put it in the food, in the water. Dude, this shit's so microscopic. And until a lot of it forms up, you can't even see it.
Okay.
But they're putting it in the food and the water. So now it's getting inside of us and it's building and it's growing
in us
because we continue to intake it, and then it actually has the ability to take you over. You know what I mean? Or end up killing you. But one thing that does completely stop it is, just like in the movie Spider-Man, high pitched frequencies and stuff like that actually cause it to like to flip out.
Which is why I'm going to keep going to music festivals and keep being a bass head, because that loud bass will just be like, it'll be like, you know,
fuck it up.
And I'm just going to be like,
fairy godparents,
rainbows and sunshine.
Yeah, but dude, we were talking about Snapchat at one point, were we?
Mm-hmm.
But I deleted.
Oh, we weren't talking about it here, but we were going to talk about how we were going to talk about it here.
Right. Yeah, I completely deleted Snapchat recently. That's why you can find all of our stuff at More Podcast on Instagram, and of course our website link is on there as well. But dude, like Snapchat, not only with the you've got the what is it called? You know how you can go to Snap Maps and see people's location and shit like that? Like you can see that, and then you're getting stories directly where they are, what they're doing, what they're eating, whatever it may be. And that I got really pulled into that, looking at other people's lives, you know what I mean? And focusing on shit that has nothing to do with me.
Instead of doing cool shit in your own life. Right?
Yeah. I started looking at other people's like, oh, they're at,
Chipotle.
They're at Chipotle, or they're at a fucking speakeasy or whatever it is. And I was just spending time looking at other people's lives, and I was like, this sucks. And not only that, but then you go to where you see stories and stuff like that, and you have all those shitty news articles, dude. Like one news article I pulled up, it was right after Elvis's movie had come out and stuff like that. And it was like the big headline. They always bait, you know what I mean? And it was like, the truth behind why Elvis is garbage or whatever it may be. Then you open it up, and then it's all of this information. This might as well be a conspiracy theory. Like they can just, these journalists can say whatever they want. And again, Elvis is dead, so he can't come out and be like, no, it actually didn't happen like that.
Right.
But the thing behind it, and this is like information that's out there, they say Elvis was with a bunch of younger girls, but also when he was a young man, you know what I mean? And he was Elvis Presley, you know what I mean? He was like a young man. Maybe he had a relationship with underage girls. His wife may have been on, I don't know. I don't remember. I wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
But
his wife was young.
Right.
When they got married.
Right. Yeah. And regardless, that may be true. That could be out. That is
also a different time.
Yeah. Also, it was a different time. So I'm just like, they created this whole article. Somebody spent time, this journalist spent all this time coming up with this stuff just to disrespect a dead man. You know what I mean?
And not only dead man, like Elvis, like the king of rock, to slander his name.
Yeah.
When he really put out so much good stuff for people,
Yeah. And it's like, at the end of the day, what are you like putting out this information right now? What does that do?
That doesn't give you any credibility of anything whatsoever.
Yeah, it
just makes you look bad.
Yeah, I don't understand it. And it really pisses me off because with these Snapchat stories, it doesn't, like, you go to a newspaper, you open up a newspaper, it says, oh, journalist, who was this written by? Emily Wilson, you know what I mean? Or whatever it may be. But with Snapchat, dude, it doesn't say who it was written by. It's just information that's there. It's just magically there.
Yeah.
And it's not like you can say, okay, this person, James Harrison wrote this. I want to contact him, or I want to say,
where are you getting these facts?
Where are you getting these facts? Or even just like go look at his credits. What other work has he done? There's none of that on the Snapchat on that shit. And it upset me, dude. And I actually, because when those stories come up, when it's just straight slander and like just malarkey, I'll block that. Because they're
account, right.
I'll block it, and then it says, "Why are you blocking it?" And and nobody's reading them, but I'm like, because they're slandering, or I actually put how I feel, even though nobody, or they're reading it, and they're just laughing and throwing it away. But yeah, dude, Snapchat's just evil and dark, man.
Straight up, no, I
don't like it.
I agree, and to go back on the point, like, okay, Elvis and underage girls or whatever, like, he's Elvis, right? And I'm not like, it was a different time, but like, who's to say like Elvis is out and about and there's all these girls coming to his shows and he's like out afterwards and then there's girls coming up and talking to him. I don't know if were there IDs, identification back in the day for them to get in.
Right.
And people lie. You know what I mean? Like, people will lie because it's Elvis. Oh, you know what I mean? Like, there's this 15, 16-year-old girl, not saying this did or didn't happen. I'm just asking questions. It's like Elvis is sitting there, right? And he's having a conversation with this girl, whatever age she may be. And then he's like, how old are you? And she's like, oh, I'm 22.
Right.
Well, not really much way to prove it now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I don't even know if there was any of that. Like, in Elvis's reality, do you think he ever sat one-on-one with a girl and actually got to know them until they were, like, in the bedroom? Like, I feel like there be so many people around him constantly.
It's all just surface level shit. You know what I mean? And it's it's hard. It's like in Dave. We were watching Dave, like how we're watching Dave, season 3, Looking for Love tour. And it's about how he's going on tour and he's meeting all these girls and he's having all this sex, this meaningless sex with all these girls who just want to have sex with him because he's famous and he's Lil Dicky.
Yeah.
And he's trying to find, the love of his life. And in the first episode, spoiler alert, he meets this girl and like she's sitting out by this truck. It's right after a show. She tells him she doesn't know who he is. She says that, she's just out with her friends and she's like just kind of like playing it off like she's got no idea who he is. And she's like being really interested in like what he's saying. And then they become really close and friends. And he's like, oh my God, there's a girl that doesn't just want me for being famous. She really enjoys my time. And then they go to her friend's house. She passes out drunk and all of her friends say, oh, she knew who you were. She just said that because she wanted to have sex with you because you're Lil Dicky. And that's all you say in your interviews is that you want to fall in love with someone. You want them to know.
Real, right?
Exactly, right. So it's like you got to be careful to not believe all the shit you're hearing from news, from people, and just like really trust your gut and trust your instinct of what you feel is right.
Yeah. And I just kind of, with deleting Snapchat and staying off of the other social medias, it's like, when is enough? Because what it was is when I first came home back from Florida, I was in charge of my own happiness. And I made myself happy through the actions I did, through the food that I ate, through doing what I wanted to do.
Right.
And then I found myself on my phone looking for other people to bring me happiness. I found myself on my phone looking at other people's stuff or a connection with somebody else that would make me happy. You know what I mean? And then I was like, oh, this is completely against everything that I came here and said I would be going to do. You know what I mean? So I'm back on the horse of like, I'm in charge of my own happiness. I do what I want to do, reading books, the books that I want to read, and making the food that I want to make, and hang out with the people I want to hang out because it makes me happy. You know what I mean? And I'm not really. I think I got too out there. When I came home, I said I wasn't gonna really talk to anybody. I wasn't gonna be. Not that I wouldn't talk to anybody, but I'm not going to go out of my way to hang out with random people for no reason
that don't serve you in healthy ways for your life. And that doesn't mean like literal serve you, like bring you stuff and all that, but like literally serve you in like an energy and like a spiritual, like good way. Like, why would I hit someone up that really like, okay, I went to high school with you. Yes. Did we have some good times? Did we have good conversations and relate? And are you a good person? Yes. But now things have changed. I've moved other places. I've grown as a person. I mean, yes, maybe if we see each other out, nice. But like, if we're not communicating all the time, like me and Ryan, like we'll communicate when we live in different places because we're best friends. But the thing is, like, if I just see when I'm home, you know what I mean? And I'm out for years. Why would I come back and be like, oh, I got to hit these people up? Oh, no, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to come back and do things that I do. And at the end of the day, like, people just lose things they're not in common anymore. You know what I mean? People like go their separate ways. People have different interests. And yeah, like no, I completely agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, so I'm really happy to be back on the horse, and I'm so excited to like, you know, just now that I'm dude, I'll tell you this much too. Coming home, I didn't have a job for the first month, and now you can relate to this. We both have jobs again, and so it's like as fun as it was to not have to, you know, go by any schedule or have anywhere to be on Wednesday at 3 p.m. or anything like that. I got to my job and I realized, oh, like I missed being a part of a team.
Yeah.
I missed having an objective. I missed having
the camaraderie.
The
workplace.
Oh my God, dude. I'll tell you what, the camaraderie is real.
Yeah,
dude.
same.
But
same with my job.
Yeah, I love it. And so I think there is something to be said there with, you know, whenever I do make $1 million, it's like still like you could have all that money, but still being a part of a team is something money can't buy. You know what I mean? That's valuable too.
And I've got some other points. So, okay. So when it comes down to the job thing, right? Like taking a month or so off, especially like after you finish school or after you move to a new place and just kind of like settling in, that's fine. But like, it made me learn that complete freedom, 100% freedom is not a good thing, because you can be free and have no obligations, nothing to do from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed. But then you do a couple of things. You wake up at 8. It's now 12. You've done everything on your to-do list. Now what? Now you're going to go to the pleasurable things. You're going to eat that muffin. You're going to masturbate. You're going to do all the little pleasurable things because they're quick fixes. Because in your heart, you know what you should be doing. You should, not saying go get a job, but like for instance, myself, like I want to start making yoga and meditation content, and it'll always get to that point in the day where I'm like, oh man, I got all this stuff done. Now I can make the videos. But then as I sit there and I'm like, okay, I'm about to make the video, I start to get that self-doubt. I start to suffer within internally. Yeah. And then because I don't want to sit in my suffering, I will go to these little pleasurable things so that I'm comfortable. And in that same book, Way of the Superior Man, they'll talk about like how you're supposed to take that energy that you feel, that suffering energy, and sit in it, feel it, and then, you know, release it in a healthy way. Let's say you get horny or something like that, or you feel like an erection coming. You could just go and masturbate it off, or you can take that energy and circulate it through your body into something that's a healthy way for you to do. And people don't like to be uncomfortable. They don't like to sit in suffering. And so they will go to those quick fixes. And I've definitely, you know, got a lot of learning to do myself, but like I've been getting a lot better of like over the past week or so, I've been making the videos and I haven't been posting them that, but I'm just like, the first step is making the video and making sure that I feel good about the content I'm making, you know, for sure. And then just the trickle effects follows, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I think that's great. And I'm happy, especially, you know, for this summer to be just in part of a team that I enjoy being a part of, and just having kind of that connection that I didn't previously have.
Yeah.
All of the connections were obviously, you know, friends I wanted in my reality and stuff like that, but also like a little bit of hardship isn't a bad thing. You know, being uncomfortable. Discipline. Yeah. Going to work on a Saturday knowing it's going to be packed. There's going to be a ton of people at the bar, but knowing I'm going to rise up to that occasion. I'm going to step into war and I'm going to handle business
straight up.
You know what I mean? And come out of it with a nice chunk of change.
Yeah. It's like if everything was easy, then nothing would be, it wouldn't be worth it. It wouldn't be valuable. I don't know if we talked about it in a previous episode, but it's like Andrew Tate talks about the 6-pack, right? Like if everyone had six-pack, then no one would think it's valuable. Yeah. You got to work hard for it. You got to be disciplined for it. So you see people out with 6-pack, you're like, damn, I want that. You got to work for that shit. You know what I mean? You got to build that mental discipline within yourself. And like you talked about earlier about like the muffin, like every time you say no to something or every time you do something good for yourself, you're building that mental discipline within yourself. And so it's going to get easier and easier every time. Yeah. And there's all these health benefits to ice baths that Andrew Huberman talks about, like blood flow, brain function, all that type of stuff, like scientifically, but also that mental discipline of like, I'm about to get in this ice bath. I'm about to get in this cold plunge for 6 minutes. It's going to be fucking hard. Yep. But I know if I get in that shit from start to finish, then when I do something else that's really hard, it's going to be that much easier because I know that I've done hard ass shit, got through it. And then all that noise going on in your head, it's going to mean nothing to you. That's why in meditation, you shouldn't grow attachment to these thoughts because they're just thoughts in the ether, right? There's this huge thought bubble that we talk about, right? Yep. You ever said something or has everyone ever said something around you and you're like, oh my God, I just thought about that, because there's this ether of thought bubbles all around your head, and that person just happened to pull it out before you could say something. And so I forgot the point I was trying to make there. With meditation, it's like, okay, in my head, as I look at this ice bath, it's like thought, pain. But in reality, if I come back to my present, then you'll just build that skill, build that strength, build that mental discipline, and you'll flourish.
Exactly. Building up through small compounding wins, you know what I mean, of denying that the muffin or whatever it may be is
the muffin.
The
Cupcake Chronicles.
The Cupcake Chronicles, denying that muffin. But yeah, I think that's super important, man. And I'm happy we're both like super aware to that. But I do want to kind of end this episode on a nice bubbly topic, being the Super Mario Bros. Movies. I fucked that up. The Super Mario Brothers movie.
The one solo movie.
The one solo movie.
Which could turn into a trilogy.
Who knows? But it's the number one movie in the world right now. And I'll be honest, when I saw that they were coming out with this, I was like, okay. This was like a year ago before it came out. Remember, everyone, there were leaked audio tapes of the guy who plays Star-Lord on Guardians of the Galaxy. He's the one who plays Mario.
Okay.
And he was doing a Italian accent to be Mario, and people were calling him racist and saying that that's fucked up and stuff, but he's literally is acting. He's playing a character.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's the same thing, and all due respect to like people with disabilities, they are like, oh, if someone has autism or if someone has a mental illness, then they should be the one playing the role. Not essentially, because if you have a disease, I'm not saying you're a good or bad actor if you have a disease, but just because it's an odd person that needs to be autistic for the role or play an autism person does not mean essentially that the person with autism is a better actor.
Or has the capability to do it how the show would like to portray what's the story being told.
Exactly. And the thing is, if the person, director, producer, saw that the autistic or the person with the disability or the Italian individual in Ryan's case is a better actor, they're going to choose them.
Yeah.
They're going to choose them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's not like they hate Italians or they hate everyone. It's just another way that the media tries to put biased things out there to switch up our
They just want people upset.
Exactly. Exactly. Right.
But regardless, it's funny because I said I want to do a light topic, and then it turned into
Super Mario Bros. Yeah.
But Super Mario Bros. So yeah, what's his name? What is that guy's name?
It's Chris Pratt.
That's Chris Pratt.
Yeah,
that's Chris Pratt. So Chris Pratt, yeah, he plays Mario, and I remember a year ago seeing it. I was like, I don't even. That doesn't really interest me, whatever. But then you start to see the trailers coming out, and then you start to see all the hype around the movie, which again could be just outside forces telling me how to think. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, it's the number one movie in the world. So then you're like, well, how are you not going to see the number one movie in the world?
But dude, regardless if it's the number one movie in the world or not, I played those games. Yeah. I had the GameCube. I played Super Mario Bros. Yeah. I played Smash Bros. I played Mario Party. I played Mario Kart. I played Mario Tennis.
Goddamn.
Tennis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to see that movie.
Yeah, I'm going to see that movie.
Bro, it looked good from the obviously the trailer is supposed to look good. Personally, like I'm never very critical of movies, right? I just go into the movie, I take it for what it is, and I'm like, wow, and I'm just like I usually leave pretty happy because it's all about perspective. If you're like, oh, it has to be this way, it has to be this way. Oh, why isn't Peach and Mario together? Why is Peach kissing on Luigi? You know what I mean? If Peach is kissing on Luigi and I'm in the movie, I'm like, oh shit, oh my god, Luigi, what are you doing, man? And it's like, we're seeing that movie, and then we're gonna see in November Ballad of the Songbirds, and it's the Hunger Games movie. I butchered the title.
Ballad of Songbirds in tight pants, I think.
I got my tight pants on. Yeah, straight up.
But
the Rise of President Snow.
I like it. The Rise of President Snow. And that's funny. This morning I missed your phone call for the gym, and you said rise.
But I didn't say. I just said RISE.
Rise.
In regular. I didn't say like all caps, no exclamation points, just rise.
Rise. And I did. I was like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah.
But I've on the topic of seeing a movie and not being 100% pleased with it. I'm not super picky either. Like I go in there with the intention of I'm gonna have a good time. I came to see this movie. This popcorn. Is just a relaxing time. Oh, dude, it's large popcorn every time. And then by the end of the movie, after I finish the whole thing, I'm running to the restroom because it goes through me, dude. It's just the butter and the oil and whatever.
This is a large popcorn he's talking about. Dude. This isn't a little kitty size. This ain't a little small. Yeah, it's not even a me. This is a large.
It is a large. And so there was one recently, House Party. It was. Did you see that movie? I didn't see
it, but I know what you're talking about.
What do you know about it?
House Party. Test me right now. Tell me about the story.
Okay, so so Andrew Santino's in it.
Okay.
And so essentially the movie's about these two party promoters. They're like they make parties happen.
Yeah.
But that's their side gig. Their main job is they're janitors, they're house cleaners.
Okay.
They go to people's houses and they clean them. That's what they do. But then on the side, they're wearing all these chains and stuff. Yeah. It's like the classic.
They got the sideways snapback hat. It's just slightly tilted.
Yeah. And so they're cleaning this house, and they don't know it yet, but it's LeBron James' house.
Okay.
And something is what. Previous before we see one of the guys did something and the boss calls him and says, "You guys are fired." He fires him while they're at LeBron's house cleaning. LeBron's gone for the weekend, probably playing the Suns somewhere or something.
Okay. And LeBron directed this movie, I'm assuming. Like LeBron is a part of like the making of this movie, unless it's just his house. I don't know.
He is in it. There's a hologram of him, and then he comes in at the end.
Okay.
But regardless, spoiler alert if you guys plan on going and seeing House Party, but I'm telling you, it's not that great. Anyway, the concept is cool. When I'm telling you all this, it's at LeBron's house. It sounds like it's gonna be dope.
Yeah.
But essentially then they go into LeBron's address book and because they want to throw the largest party ever and make all this money because they just got fired from their jobs. They're trying to make their names for themselves. This is their one shot.
Okay? LeBron James' house.
Yeah.
Liquor signals.
And yeah, right? No shit. And so they get into his guest book, like his address book, and name everyone. Lil Wayne, everyone's in this movie.
Rihanna.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Rihanna's in the movie because she's pregnant. But
Andrew Santino.
Andrew Santino, he's the next door neighbor, and he has a pet koala bear. And so regardless, all these people come over, they throw a huge party, but still, I guess, I wanted Project X.
Yeah,
but
you wanted the cops to show up. They handle business. They walk to the back. These nerdy kids are like till the break of dawn, and then everyone goes fucking nuts. They have the own with the ecstasy pills in it.
Yeah,
wasn't Shaq there? Or no, maybe not. No.
In Project X?
Yeah.
I don't know about that. He might.
Maybe not.
I'd like to go back and watch that movie.
I think that's a great movie.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, I just thought that was a good movie. You know what I mean? Like, they did that right. Like, it wasn't just like, a movie party. Like, like they really Project X.
How about Bridesmaids? Did you ever see that movie?
Dude, yes.
Dude, what a great
movie.
That
was, I think, Melissa McCarthy's first real, that's where she stepped onto the scene officially.
Yep.
She jumps into the fucking sink and she pulls down her pants and she's just shitting everywhere.
Bridesmaids and what's the other one where they sing?
Pitch Perfect. That's not her though.
I know. I'm just saying good movies.
But honestly, no. But that actress in Pitch Perfect reminds me of Melissa McCarthy. Like, I feel like they should do a movie together.
The two bigger girls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one bigger blonde.
Yeah, the one bigger
blonde.
That's
like kind of got that British, like, that angle, that London look.
London look.
Yeah.
Dude, she's skinny now?
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Nice.
Good for her.
Yeah, very nice.
Regardless, I want to host a movie night. I want to get popcorn. I want people to come over, and I want to do like the fire stick where you can get, dude, this movie called The Warriors. Do you know that? It's from the 80s. So, dude, when you go back in cinema, shit gets good. So, The Warriors is it was a movie my father showed me. He had it on DVD or whatever. And essentially, dude, it's about a gang in New York. There was in New York in the 80s, there were a bunch of basically cliques. There was the skaters, there were the rappers, the punks, there was all of these different types of genres of gangs. And the movie's about the Warriors are this gang and they do something wrong. I don't remember exactly what it is, but all the gangs in New York turn on them. So the whole movie's about them running through New York, getting on the subway, and all these different gangs are chasing them. And they're it's so sick. They go through, different parts of the city and whatnot. And then at the end, they're at the pier and,
where there's no way left. They're at the very end. They got all the gangs.
Yeah. And then everyone comes in. I don't remember exactly how it ends, but that's what I love. It's like having a movie I absolutely love when I watched it, and then I haven't watched it now in probably 10 years, and then going back and falling in love with it again.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I totally agree.
That's what I want to do.
I love good subway scenes. You know what I mean? Like when people are running around in the subway from train to train, it's kind of a good movie.
Dude, Selena.
Like Matrix, for example.
Yeah. Selena told me because she's in Colorado right now, she went to a Colorado baseball game, right? And she took the train to get there.
Rockies.
Yeah. And so she sits on the train. This was last night. She sits on the train and there's a bunch of people on the train and a homeless guy comes up to her and gives her a flower and says, "You're very beautiful. Will you date me?" And she says no. And
she takes the flower and steps on it.
No, that didn't happen. And so then he gets all awkward and runs out of the train. As he does, his bag of dope, heroin, and the needles fall out into the train, and the people in the train start fighting over the heroin.
No way.
And start fighting over the bag of heroin. And
were the other people homeless as well, or were they?
I don't know. That's a good question. But then there was like needles on the seats and stuff like that, like just needles out on the train.
Yeah. And
so Selena gets to her place and goes up to the front car, and says, "Hey, just to let you know, there was a homeless guy who dropped a bag of heroin and needles everywhere." And the train driver goes, "Do you know what city this is? There's needles everywhere." and said, "I don't give a shit." And then Selena was like, "Okay," walked away. And
I thought he was going to be like, "Oh, where? I want some."
well, that is still like, but as the train driver, wouldn't you think you would go back and at least clean it up? What if a child comes in who's, coming back from school or something? I don't know.
Well, it's just, now here's what's confusing to me. It's like, how is this stuff so like accessible and just so like blatantly in the public, but people get busted for weed when they're in their car and it's just all hell.
I will say I've never been exposed to heroin or needles.
No, neither have I. No.
But I've been to the cities. I've lived in different cities, not just here in this small town.
I can't say that I've been there's probably been a time like, because your mom took you to cities growing up, same as my mom as well. And like, I'm sure there's been a time where like we maybe subconsciously like saw a needle on the ground with, you know what I mean? Just like
garbage and such.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
And we didn't even think about it.
Exactly. No, it's very unfortunate though.
Yeah. So. But I thought that was just wild. Like, that's a crazy story.
Yeah, straight up. No.
Anyway.
This was amazing.
This was so fun, dude. I really enjoyed this episode. Episode 31 of the More podcast in the books. Book it. You guys have stayed with us till the end, so you get a special reward. All you got to do is go to our Instagram, go to the link of our website, and you will find your reward there. Thank you so much for checking in on us and keeping up. And dude, I like this. This is super fun.
Yeah, let us know what you guys think. Leave comments, subscribe, share this, like we said, to your whole family members, your coworkers. Your next door neighbor, the guy who, tells you to get off his lawn every day.
The mailman. Everyone. Give it to everyone. Yeah. We're spreading the good word. We're just having fun here, and we hope you are too. I'm Ryan Moget.
I'm Nicholas Manus.
And this is the More podcast. Thank you so much. Peace.